Right, yeah. So diving into some news from this week in the tabletop world. The first little bit of news, actually, I'm going to pass over to Jerry in just a second, but it's from the guys at Two Fat Lardies, who have now got pre-orders up for their new ancient skirmish game called Infamy Infamy. And
They've all got it in for me.
I was going to do that, but goddamn, you stole it from me. All right,
Everybody wants it.
I'm going to pass over to Jerry to talk about.
Can I just interject at this point, right?
Feel free.
Because I think it was on the show last week that it was recommended to me to watch Rome.
Yes, Rome. Yeah.
I have now started to watch that.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, thumbs up. It's a horny show, guys.
Well,
it's not child friendly, no.
anything to do with the Romans, Warren, it's going to be like that. Come on.
Yes.
History to the TV show. They've got to up the game, so...
I will admit, I'm becoming more and more drawn to the Romans, the more I find out that their sense of humor is not a kick in the ass off my sense of humor. So, do you see that Roman city, Jerry? Okay. I am now utterly convinced that I could do the graffiti on that. No problem whatsoever. So, yes, I so
Just
far
build it for me then.
Yeah, I'm 2 episodes in to Rome. I am enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to getting it on. So infamy from Two Fat Lordies just couldn't have arrived at a better time, really.
I was going to say, as an interesting segue into the game itself, the opening scene from Rome, where they're fighting in the regiment, and then he's blowing the whistle and moving the men forward and charging out and everything like that. Properly on board with that kind of thing in Infamy and Infamy. But yeah,
yes,
nice.
Jerry, you got a first look.
I did. I've been delving into the rules. So while it's described as large skirmishes, I want to make this clear. It's not every man for themselves running about little mobs. It's footprint-based units. So when they say large skirmishes, they mean as opposed to a battle. So you've got units, they're still formed up, they have footprints. But the game itself runs from 60 BC to 100 AD. So essentially it's late Republican moving into early Imperial Rome. And it's based around the North Europe area. So you have army lists in there for the Gauls. So you can do Caesar's.
So can I, Gauls. Right. So just as I know people are going to say I'm going to butcher this, but I'm just going to clarify. So late Republic into early Imperial.
Yes.
That's the Caesar transition, is it?
Yes. So it goes from.
So that is the show Rome that we're watching.
Could be
in that period, isn't it? Because it's all about.
I've never seen it.
Well, it looks to me to be all about Caesar taking his absolute power. So
in that case,
against the Gauls and that kind of thing.
Yeah. In that case, that's spot on for it.
Right. So late Republic to early Imperial.
Early Imperial. So 60
is the heyday of
AD.
Yeah. Okay.
And it means you've got a system where you can play both types of Romans. So if you're familiar with Roman legionnaires from from Gladiator, or as we see there, those would be the sort of, they actually look more like auxiliary, but they could be. They're not wearing the segmented armor. They've got chainmail on. You've got that later period, the early Imperial. Or if you want to play the Caesar's invasion of Gaul and then the further invasions into Britain with the Republican Romans, both of those lists are in there. You've also got Germans, Gauls, and Britons. In that you can play any of these sort of areas, but the really interesting mechanics in the game, because you've got things that I know Lloyd would love, where your units are based on footprints, but you still have casualty removal, but the unit doesn't extend or contract. They just reach a point where they're going to break and run off. But if you're supported by units attached to you, you can mob up essentially, so you don't end up with these little 2-man units or 3-man units running about,
being really effective.
Or just running off altogether. You've got that ability to push people into the front line to replenish casualties in your fighters and things like that. So it's it is more like a formed combat. You can take your single unit and move it forward, or you can combine them together, because there's an element of command and control. The game revolves around the leaders, and it has that usual Lardy's mechanic that you see in the likes of Sharp Practice, where cards are dealt and that leader activates, or the Tiffin card from Sharp's Practice has become the Tempest Fugit card, and that ends the act. So you have this possibility that maybe not everything is going to complete its action in that.
Justin, scroll up there to get a look at the game. Click that there so as I can see that.
Some of the stuff on table then.
So Jerry, I was as a possibility for could I treat it almost Kings of War style, where yes. Could I just model them onto the bases and just just put them there, and
all you need to do is be able to
instead.
Yeah, just a dice on the back of the base, a D10 or D12 or whatever you happen to,
or a standard or something, a Roman standard with little bits hanging off it or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, because you've got this very set footprint. So the barbarians normally come in units of 10. The cavalry come in units of 6. Skirmishers will be units of 6. And then formed sort of professional soldiers will be units of 8. So they always have this. And as long as your footprint matches for both forces, it doesn't really matter whether you're going to go for 100, 120, 50 mil, whatever it happens. You work that out with yourself and your friend, because you can play this in multiple scales as well. It's not scale specific. It looks better in 28 mil, but you can easily play it in 15 or 6 or whatever you want, because you're just
going to play it in 2.
You can play them. You could.
It has to be square bait. It has to be square formation.
It has to be square. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at you trying to sneak the rounds in there.
Now, hang on. The rounds are in there. It's just they're on a round base going into a square base.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just I'm looking at it now. Now that what you're saying, I was originally looking at it thinking, I could do this, Kings of War style, with
little
the
dioramas and stuff.
Yeah, little dioramas and minis on it. But I've got to say, Jerry, now that based on what you've just told me, I want to do it 15 mil. Dioramas. I would even. Do you know what? I would even go with the square dioramas. But I'm looking for an excuse to do a mass battle kind of diorama kind of thing, and this could well be it.
And here's the thing: even though they suggest if you're going to be playing in 15, drop your board size and drop your unit sizes down, you could keep them the same as they are for 28 and just pack more people on there.
That's exactly what I was going to do.
At that point, this skirmish game becomes essentially a mass battle game.
Yeah. But I wouldn't like. I would keep it all exactly as it is. But I just, as you know, I just like the texture that a 15 mil game brings to the tabletop. Just with the
that cinematic feel.
Yeah, it looks like more dudes there. Do you know what I mean? More is more in my world, So
so hang on, that saying has came from terrain and is now transferring into your miniatures. Okay.
Well, Justin, look, I'm a simple guy in many respects.
You're a cinematic gamer.
I'm not hard to please. You
just want everything you can lay on a table.
Yeah, I have very. I'm a Neanderthal. Okay. I'm a Neanderthal. So, to me, more is more. So,
trust me, I know. I've been to yours for Christmas dinner.
So whenever I'm looking at a battle on the table, if I have the prospect of running it with a
grander
texture, I'll do that.
But it's a beautifully designed system, because it's tied into the scenarios more so than some other games. I think there's 8 scenarios in the book, and some of them are subdivided. So, raiding the village could be going in and setting fire to a crop, or going in and grabbing a hostage, like the chieftain's son or something. So when the forces are built, you build your core force, and then you work out the scenario, and then the attacker rolls to see if they've got support, and the support can increase the size of their force, and then the defender kind of matches that. But it's always, you're never just playing 2 pitched battles or two-pitched armies just clashing. It's always scenario-driven, which is very interesting because if you've got something to do, yes, the Romans may be a professional body and theoretically better fighters than the barbarians in certain instances. If you're having to remember that it's all about the scenario, and yes, you're a better fighter in an open plain, but you're having to send a unit in to set fire to this crop or get this guy, and it might take several turns to get them because of the task rule that they've baked into the system, where it's like a cumulative roll. So you might, setting fire to a crop might be a 6+, and you roll turn 1, you roll a 3, turn 2, you roll a 2. Next turn you'll definitely get it, or you could go in on turn 1 and roll a 6 and go, oh, I'm done. But then, like, kidnapping is maybe like a 12, so you're not going to do it that quickly, or setting fire to the whole village and burning it to the ground and salting it so nothing will grow. It's like a 16. So yes, you could do it in 3 turns potentially, but more likely it's going to take 5 or 6 turns. And so having to compartmentalize part of your force to go and do the scenario while the rest of your force is dealing with your enemy combatants.
Kind of managing your luck element and that kind of thing.
And your enemy is actually trying to get to that compartmentalized fragment of your army to go, no, bad Romans, no.
And later on in the game, because you've got Signa cards, which can be used to activate or to give you certain bonuses, additional dice for combat or whatever it happens to be, you start the game with them. But then when you use them, they get set into a deck, and at the end of every turn, that deck gets shuffled and dealt out. And that's fine up until the point where 4 Signa cards are dealt out in a consecutively. So turn 1, you're not going to get it. Turn 2, you might get it if you've been very blasé, very, toss. I'm going to chuck all these cards down to get the bonuses to do a lot of damage now because I'm going to get them back. But what happens then is they're random tables, and after the 4th card's been turned, you roll on a random event chart. That could be anything from your leader slips and falls and that unit ends its move, or if you're in combat, you might take additional shock, or maybe no combat is fought, so you're going, I'm going to go in here, I'm definitely going to do a lot of damage, and then because you were too quick to throw those cards down earlier, it's detrimental to you now, so you've got to manage that component of the game as well. You can't just go, I'm going to push all in early, because then that might hamper your plans later. And at that point, you're going, well, I was betting on that happening so I could do this, this, and this, but now, because I was too blasé, that's not happened, and I've got to rethink my tactics for the rest of the turn. And always you've got that Tempest Fugit card when it comes out. It's going to stop you anyway, so you can never depend on getting everything done when you want to get it done. You've always got to manage that. So yeah, it's a fascinating set of rules. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Absolutely.
I want to get this down on the table because I love the work that Two Fat Lardies do.
Yeah, and I love Romans. It turns out. Justin, I think it's the perfect opportunity for you to unleash your mutinous tootinous army.
Not exactly historically accurate.
I don't think the Lardies would mind. I don't think the Lardies would mind one bit.
Are there any left, or have they all gone in people's packages?
I have been sneaking 1 or 2 in whenever people have been asking for like little gifts and things. No, because look, whenever people are sending messages and stuff into the store, I've had people ask me for jokes, limericks, legends, and little extra gifts.
It's okay, man. Look.
Oh God! Oh, you got a new 3D printer.
We have another 3D printer, man. So
what makes that?
We can. This is the Photon S, Justin.
Oh, nice.
So that one's coming down to you, okay?
Because one thing that I am wanting to experiment with is some more 3D printing, because I found some files for Battlefleet Gothic.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, we'll come to that. But that's it.
I want to get some spaceships done, though.
We have the Photon S here now.
Yeah, we have the Photon here.
To do a comparison with the Photon. So the Photon S is an upgrade.
Okay.
Justin. So it has dual linear rails at the back.
Okay, instead of the single rail.
Yeah, which should limit some of that
that wiggle.
Wiggle that you would see on the Z-axis. Z-axis. It also has an improved UV curing thing, so it'll cure faster.
Cool.
The resolution is the same, but the actual end result of the print is actually slightly sharper again than the previous one. But most importantly of all, between the Photon S, the Photon, and the Mars behind
you run, yeah.
We can produce more mutinous tootness now than ever before. So, Justin,
welcome back to the show.
You will never run out of mutinous tootness now for the rest of your life. And I know
this is the thing. I'll get rid of them, and I'll come into the studio, and Warren's going to start hiding them on shelves. I'm going to turn around to pick down like Spartacus or something off a shelf, and there's just one of these things waiting, staring at me, hiding behind boxes.
Dude, you watch the Discord, man.
Oh, God.
Because mutinous tootness painting tutorials, I hear, are in the works, especially for you.
I did see Manda Pie had been running one or two off.
Yep, they're coming your way, man.
Oh, God!
And do you want to know the most exciting piece of news?
This is going to turn into like a bad Alfred Hitchcock movie.
I'm gonna. So we're going to be kicking up the 3D printing aspects of what we're doing. So we've got plans afoot for some cool 3D printing stuff going on. I managed to get us an Elegoo Saturn.
Okay, is that a big one?
Oh yes, Justin, it's a big one.
Okay.
So the Elegoo Saturn is the upgrade from the Elegoo Mars. So the Elegoo Mars is sitting behind me.
Yeah.
There's the Elegoo Mars Pro, which is a bit like the Photon S, is a dual linear rail kind of thing with an upgraded. But the Elegoo Saturn is a bigger version. Okay.
Big bed.
Dual rail, big bed, 4K mono screen. So this is so rather than being basically like a refactored kind of mobile phone screen, this is a dedicated 4K screen with upgraded UV light aspects. So
my biggest question for that then is how much bigger have they made the tank? Because that FEP on the bottom, if you go too big with that, I don't know if it's going to hold up.
Oh no, this is superb. Okay. Now it's not going to come to us until like September, and it took me 2 goes to get it.
Really?
Yeah, I tried to get in on the early bird stuff to try and get us one, but it sold out in, I think it was like 15 seconds.
That makes sense.
So then I managed to get in on the second round, which sold out in 2 minutes. But we did manage to get one because. See,
this is why you should never have stopped playing video games. Keep those reflexing, man. That trigger finger. Trigger finger.
I just don't have the reflexes anymore. I'm just old Jeff Burton says. Anyway, so
that's
cool, in homage to the Lardies, Justin will in fact complete his. Okay, infamy. We've all got an infamy.
He's got an infamy.
Yes, I'm gonna have a look at the some 15 mil.
Awesome.
So that just see how it goes. So I'm thinking Romans versus Vikings.
Ooh, that's good.
That would be late Middle Imperial. So
yes, with a dash of Victorian on the side. Yeah.